At precisely 2:15 a.m., on a silent steel bridge spanning the dark waters of the Dnipro River, a massive Russian convoy stretched more than 5 miles long began to slow. Over 500 military vehicles, loaded with ammunition, fuel, and command equipment, sat stranded in a narrowing bottleneck. Those supplies were destined for nearly 2,000 troops entrenched on the southern front. The convoy was heavily guarded. Mobile Pantsir S-1 air defense systems stood on alert, each armed with 57 E-6 missiles and twin 30mm autocannons. Above them, the Nebo M radar swept the sky every 3 seconds, capable of detecting an object as small as a baseball from over 200 yards away. Every man in that convoy believed they were safe. They were wrong. Clamped to the cold steel beams beneath the bridge, 12 Ukrainian FPV drones lay silent, motionless and waiting. Each was worth no more than $600, but carried a PG-7VL warhead powerful enough to punch through a foot of reinforced concrete. These drones didn't rely on GPS. They didn't need radio guidance or human pilots. Instead, they navigated through onboard LiDAR and structural mapping, autonomous, invisible, and unreachable by jamming. For 72 hours, they had waited for a single encrypted signal to awaken.
That moment came not from human strategy, but from mechanical failure. Cheap Russian truck tires collapsing under weight and heat. The convoy jammed itself into the perfect trap, right inside the kill zone, just 500 yards from the bridge's center. In a camouflaged Ukrainian command post miles away, one operator pressed a single key. Instantly, 12 green LEDs flickered to life beneath the bridge. One by one, the drones detached from their magnetic clamps and dropped silently into the void before their brushless motors roared awake. The hum of their rotors blended seamlessly with the ambient rumble of engines above. Flying tight against the bridge's support beams, the drones climbed upward unseen. Each one armed its PG-7VL warhead set to detonate 1.1 seconds after impact. The first wave of 6 drones locked onto the ammunition trucks. 4 more targeted the fuel tankers. The final pair calibrated their attack on the convoy's lead command vehicles. Inside one of the Pantsir S-1 command trucks, a Russian lieutenant noticed faint interference flicker across his console. His instincts kicked in. He switched the radar system from passive to active mode. A 57 E-6 missile immediately locked onto a small heat source below the bridge and fired. The missile streaked downward and obliterated a Ukrainian decoy drone that had just activated seconds earlier. The explosion lit up the night sky, echoing along the riverbanks.
Engines braked, trucks jackknifed, horns screamed. The once-ordered 5-mile column collapsed into chaos. But that single explosion did more than just destroy a decoy. It confirmed to the Russians that something invisible was hunting them. Radio chatter erupted across multiple frequencies. Commanders shouted coordinates. Panic spread through the convoy. A nearby Tor M2 unit attempted to lock onto targets, but the bridge's dense steel structure confused the radar, creating false echoes. By the time systems recalibrated, the drones had already slipped back beneath the girders, disappearing like ghosts. Recognizing the chaos above, the drone's onboard AI adapted. Drone 3 activated its X-band jammer. The Pantsir's radar feed instantly dissolved into static. 40 miles north, an A-50 radar aircraft monitoring the region detected sudden heat blooms near the bridge. Its advanced Shmel M radar pinpointed multiple small moving objects and relayed the targeting feed back to Russian ground forces. Within seconds, new target locks formed. A Tor M2 received the updated data and launched a 9M338 missile. The missile screamed through the air at nearly 1,800 miles per hour. Drone 9 responded instantly, deploying its fiber-optic towed decoy. A 100-foot cable unspooled behind it, ending in an AL-50 emitter that broadcast amplified radar reflections, mimicking a much larger aircraft. The missile veered off course, chasing the decoy.
3 seconds later, it detonated mid-air in a flash of white light, obliterating the fake target, while the real drone survived. For a brief moment, silence returned. Then came the final command. From the Ukrainian bunker, the operator pressed execute. All 11 remaining drones powered up simultaneously. This time, they did not hide. They surged straight upward at full throttle, covering the last 200 yards in under 6 seconds. The kill phase had begun. If this was Russia's move to crush Ukrainian resistance, then its failure would echo far beyond the river that night. 11 FPV drones screamed out from beneath the bridge, rotors shrieking at 18,000 revolutions per minute. In less than 6 seconds, they reached their designated impact zones. Drone 1 struck first, detonating directly below a munitions truck carrying 120mm mortar shells and 122mm artillery rounds. The warhead punched through a foot of concrete, unleashing a shaped blast with over 4,000 psi of force. The explosion rippled downward, the river's surface amplifying the shockwave like a mirror. The bridge trembled violently as steel rebar snapped. Within moments, more explosions followed. Drone 2 struck beneath the second ammunition section. Drone 3 slammed into a JP-8 fuel tanker. Drones 4 and 5 detonated beneath twin tankers. Drone 6 struck a mobile command vehicle. Each blast was timed to overlap, compounding their destructive force. Concrete cracked like thunder. Fire erupted across the span. One massive explosion hurled a column of flames 70 feet into the air. 4 remaining drones struck the bridge supports in rapid succession, shattering the southern half of the structure. The road buckled. Steel girders groaned. At exactly 3:47 a.m., the bridge collapsed. 40 Russian vehicles plunged into the inferno below. The first, a Ural ammunition truck, fell nose first into the crater and detonated on impact, setting off sympathetic explosions in nearby trucks. Within seconds, the entire southern section became a firestorm. Temperatures soared past 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Shockwaves shattered windows a mile away. Fuel tankers burst one after another. Flames rolled under the fractured roadway as metal fragments rained down into the river. A Panzer S-1 tried to reposition, but it was trapped between burning wrecks. Its 30mm cannon fired blindly into the smoke before vanishing in a blinding explosion as another ammunition truck erupted beside it. By 3:48 a.m., the southern span was gone, reduced to twisted steel and blackened concrete. The fire rose 80 feet high, and black smoke billowed into the night sky. Russian optics and thermal sensors failed in the heat. Command vehicles were destroyed. Communications collapsed. Out of 300 vehicles, at least 110 were confirmed destroyed or immobilized. Satellite imagery hours later revealed half a mile of devastation on both sides of the river. Seismic monitors registered the blast at 2.6 on the local magnitude scale, but the damage extended far beyond what sensors could record. That convoy had carried over 2 million pounds of ammunition and fuel, the lifeline for 1,000 Russian troops stationed near Melitopol and Tokmak. Within 72 hours, those positions went silent. Artillery guns ran dry, fuel reserves vanished, mechanized units ground to a halt. Russian logisticians scrambled to reroute, but the Nitro River Bridge had been one of only 2 critical crossings in the entire sector. The next nearest path required a 58-mile detour through contested terrain, already within range of Ukrainian HIMARS artillery. Every alternative route became a death trap. By dawn, panic spread through Russian Southern Command. The convoy was gone. The bridge was gone. Communication ceased entirely. Drone footage released later by Ukrainian forces showed wreckage burning for over 20 minutes, columns of black smoke twisting into the clouds. Field data confirmed that 9 of the 11 drones successfully struck their intended targets. 2 were lost, but the mission cost under $1,000 in total, In exchange, Ukraine had annihilated a Russian convoy worth over $300 million and crippled an entire division's logistics. The strategic effect was immediate. Without supplies, Russia's southern offensive stalled. Ukrainian forces seized the initiative, deploying M777 howitzers, NASAM air defenses, and new drone units into forward zones.
By sunrise, the bridge was gone. The convoy was gone, and the southern front had been severed completely. Satellite images at 6 a.m. showed a 400-foot gap where the bridge once stood. Russian emergency units tried to contain the flames, but Ukrainian drones circled high overhead, recording everything. With more than 2 million pounds of ammunition and fuel destroyed, Russian positions in the south began to collapse. Artillery batteries near Tokmak fell silent within 48 hours. Mechanized units froze in place. No fuel, no shells, no command. The failure triggered a chain reaction across the front. Trenches were abandoned, supply routes cut, communications thinned to nothing. Ukraine struck again. Probing attacks east of Orikhiv and south of Robotyne pushed Russian lines back. HIMARS rockets hunted remaining fuel convoys. The Nitro River drone strike became a landmark in modern warfare. A battle fought and won, not with tanks, not with jets, but with algorithms and timing. 11 autonomous drones, costing less than $1,000, had inflicted catastrophic losses and shattered a division's morale. The future of war didn't announce itself with a roar. It whispered on the low hum of silent propellers beneath a bridge at 2:15 a.m. The Russians had prepared for air raids and artillery. What they never imagined was that death would come from below.
This was not just a strike, it was a signal. The age of machines had arrived. The deadliest weapon on the battlefield was no longer the missile or the tank, it was code. And as dawn broke over the smoldering remains of the Nitro River Bridge, one truth echoed louder than the explosions themselves. In the wars of tomorrow, the smallest machines will cast the longest shadows.